welcome back to my channel, and I have a new video for you guys today, and this is going to be a different type of a video that we've ever done on our channels. And we thought we would do some sit down chit chat type of videos with you guys, something on a topic or something. So for the first topic that I wanted to pick for you guys is my collection of books, because now that we're in quarantine and there's not really much things to do, and summer readings are usually such a fun activity to do indoors, I thought why not go through my book collection and show you guys what are some of my favorite books to read, especially during summertime, and how I get through this quarantine with reading. So let's get started. Before we get started, I thought I would share my favorite mug with you that I wanted to first start this video with, and it's this mug that says "Hello Sunshine," and it has a cute little pineapple and it's pink in color, and I just really enjoy this mug. It's nice and big, and I have my cappuccino in here, and it's nice and hot right now. Like, it's really hot, so I'm trying to be careful with this. So as you guys can see, I have 2 rows of my favorite books in here, and I don't have a very large book collection because I tend to reread a lot of my favorite books, but I am interested in growing more book collection of 2 of my favorite authors. One that I recently discovered was Jeffrey Archer, and I wish I could get more of his books, but I have yet to get more of those. I did find some in like an e-reader, the books that you can download, but I'm actually interested in physically buying some of Jeffrey Archer's books. So I don't have his collection, but when I do, that'll get longer, or the collection will grow. But this right here is all of my favorite books to read right now. Some are motivational, some are mostly just books you read for fun. So let's get started with my favorite books. Alrighty, so let's start with the first sip of this cappuccino. Alrighty then, so let's start with the first sip of this cappuccino. By the way, for those of you who are wondering what kind of cappuccino I drink, it's this brand from Hillsborough. I think they're based out of California, and they have a lot of different flavors. My favorite one is double mocha. I love the rich chocolate taste of it, and that's pretty much all you get out of that cappuccino drink. You get this rich chocolatey taste, and it just craves my chocolate cravings. So yeah, this is like a really good cappuccino cup to have. Okay. I wish I had a little area to put my cup down here, but next time I'll plan better. So the first book that I want to share with you guys is my most favorite, most read book ever, and it is none other than To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And I cannot tell you the countless amount of times I have read this book. First was introduced to it through high school reading, 9th grade or 10th grade, and yeah, I've been hooked. I've read this book at least 20 times, and I'm actually currently reading it right now too. This is my bookmark, by the way. I got this from India when we were in India in 2015, and I bought some books from India. You get a bookmark. I'll share those with you guys. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. And you know, the funny thing is, with everything that's going on with 2020, it's amazing how this book still plays such a huge, relevant theme, even with what's going on in 2020 today. So if you haven't read this book, you should. It's one of your must-read classic books. Ooh, I have to share Harper Lee. This was her last novel that she wrote before she passed away. It's called Go Set a Watchman. I have to confess, I have not read it. You think I would, considering she is such a classic writer. It's set in Macomb, Alabama, just like To Kill a Mockingbird. And I think it's supposed to be a continuation. It is. It's a continuation of this book. When the girl, Jean, in this book, she grows up. This is a continuation of that book. So it says 26-year-old Jean Lewis, Scout is her nickname, She returns from New York City to visit her aging father, Atticus. Okay, now I have to read this book. Like, love, a continuation. How have I not read this yet? What's wrong with me? All right, the rest of the books, I think I'm just gonna go through it and show you guys what my favorite books are. So one of my favorite authors is Sidney Sheldon. I love reading any and all Sidney Sheldon books. So I was first introduced to Sidney Sheldon when we were in India visiting. One of my uncles, he had a huge collection of Sidney Sheldon books, and I remember we were bored one day and we were spending the day in my aunt's house, and we just went through his books and started reading, and we got fascinated with Sidney Sheldon. Should we have been reading Sidney Sheldon books at that age when we were teenagers? Probably not. But did it get us hooked on to his books? Yes, because he is such a classic author. If you've never read Sidney Sheldon books, I would describe his books as a little racy. It has a lot of dramatic feels for it, and it's just really captivating. It's like you just want to keep turning page after page after page and read. That's how fascinating all his books are. So I have a huge collection. So one is called Nothing Lasts Forever, and that's the author. I don't actually right now remember what a lot of his books are like. I don't remember the story, but once you start reading it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the story that I read. Oh, this one right here is one of my most favorite Sidney Sheldon novels to read. You can see how well loved it is. Where the hell did the cover go? It's really loved. It's stained and everything, because I cannot tell you how many times I have read this book. This one is called Windmills of the Gods. And if you had to start with any Sidney Sheldon book, start with Windmills of the God. I promise you, if your taste is anything like what my taste is, you will not put this book down. You will not put these pages down. It's so good. It's so good. Like, look how well loved this book is. Love, love, love. Okay, going back to the book, I found the cover. It's torn off, but it was like sticking to the other book. So yeah, this is what the cover of this one looks like. Okay, so another Sidney Sheldon book that I have here, I believe this one is called Tell Me Your Dreams, and this was one of the first books of his that I read in India. I'm not gonna give away too much about this book, but basically it's called Tell Me Your Dreams. You know, if I say it, it's gonna ruin it. If you have read this book, leave me a comment and tell me how much you love this book, because you know what the true story of this book is. So it's about three female characters, and yeah, it's just very interesting. It's very, this was one of the first books that I read of Sidney Sheldon's, like I told you guys, and this is what got me addicted to all of his books. Like that summer in India, we read like at least 2-3 of his books. It was really, really addicting. This is what this one looks like. Like, see, I got this one in India. I actually found a lot of Sidney Sheldon novels in India, and they're much cheaper to buy it in India than books over here. So I told you guys I bought a bunch of novels from India. See, look, there's another bookmark here. That's a cute thing, and I don't know if they still do it, but bookstores in India give you little bookmarks when you buy books from them. So I just keep them in the books that I got from India. All right, another Sidney Sheldon book, Reckless. Okay, I remember this book. I think this was one of his latest books that he wrote right before he passed away. In fact, I think this book is completed by another author, because I don't think his manuscript is completely finished before he passed away. And actually this author ended up completing the book for him. So I haven't read this book yet. I did buy it because I am fascinated with Sidney Sheldon, of course, but I'm pretty sure I've not read this book yet. I don't know. Oh, this is another one of my favorite Sidney Sheldon books. Sidney Sheldon. This one is called The Stars Shine Down, and this is a well-loved book too. It's so good. It's about this lady who becomes a diplomat, and she goes around. I'm not gonna give it away too much. You just have to watch. You would just have to read it. Love. All right, so other than Sidney Sheldon and Jeffrey Archer books that I've told you guys about, my next favorite author is John Grisham. I have a lot of his books. You guys know John Grisham's books. He's mostly, he writes like court type of books, like things where things are settled in court, and about families and businesses. I have a lot of his books, like a lot. 1 second. Like, these are all John Grisham books. I have a bunch right here, a couple more. And I believe one of his books, The Firm, was even made into a movie. And if you haven't watched The Firm, you should. It's really good. And then, yeah. Okay, and then I have a couple odd books here and there. I have the Bourne Legacy books right here. Are these two the same books that I have twice? It's like, what the heck? So, getting to the nitty gritty, let me show you some miscellaneous books. I have Mindy Kaling's books. This one is actually my sister's, my older sister's. I did take it from her and I never returned it to her. We were leaving her home, and I needed a book to read on the plane, so I took it from her. And then, where did I get you from? Alright. And then One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Classic. You have to read this if you haven't read it already. This right here is one of my most favorite. Oh my god, I feel like I've said that about every book, but I swear to you, this is one of my most favorite books. This book we read in 8th grade in high school, and I distinctly remember the professor, the teacher who instructed us to read this book. I was one of those people who went home and read this book within the first week that we were introduced to this book. Like, that's how addicted I was to this book. And I think recently me and Jano remembered this book, and then we were like going crazy finding it on Amazon, and thank God we found it. It's actually by this German author. His name is Joseph Holb, and the entire story takes place in Germany. It's about this little kid, and it's so good. It's so good. It's a bit of I wouldn't call it a teenager book. I don't know why we were assigned this reading in 8th grade, because I think it's more meant for people in like primary school to read, like 6th grade, 5th grade. But it's still nonetheless a really good book, and it's one of my favorites. I could read this over and over and over and over, and it has that quaint village lifestyle that I wish I could just live in. Like, everything, like they would make their jam homemade. They would have tea and hot chocolate and marmalade with bread, and it's just it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, here's another classic, The Alchemist. I'm sure many of you have read this book. It's brand new condition, because this is another one of those books I bought from India. Why? Because it's dirt cheap to buy your books in India. I have read the original book outside of school, like when we were still in high school, and then I lost a copy of it. So when I saw this in India, I couldn't help but obviously replace it, because it's a classic and you can read this over and over. If you haven't read this book, you should. It's by the author Paul Coelho. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but classic. Hold on one second. Okay, I have an OCD where everything has to be placed back nicely before I can move on. That's just me. But there's another book. My husband bought this book actually. It's by the author called Lahiri. Lahiri. Did not read it. It did win a Pulitzer Prize, so it should be really good. Let me know what you guys think about videos like this, because I have a lot of topics in my mind that I want to talk about, but I don't know if necessarily it jives with you guys. So let me know what you guys think about it. How have you guys been spending your quarantine? Let me know. Have you guys been doing like a lot of arts and crafts or like DIYs and that kind of stuff? Because I don't know what you guys have been doing, but like reading is one thing that keeps me sane, other than watching YouTube videos and different shows, of course. Okay, so other than Sidney Sheldon and Jeffrey Archer that I've told you guys about, let me show you guys 3 books that I love. These 3 books are like, everyone should have these types of books in their collection. You know when you have trashy novels in your collection, like the trashier, the better the novels are. Everyone should have those types of books, like, you know, where you're reading something fun, something different. All right. Motivational book. You gotta have a motivational book to read. I don't know how many of you guys have read this book, but you should. Mark Manson, I believe he has a second version of this book out as well. Another motivational book is this one right here called The Confidence Code. It's about women and how sometimes we can be insecure and where our confidence does or does not come from, and they talk about different aspects that ties into a woman's confidence. So for example, like how genetics would play a role in like the type of confidence you have or you may not have, that kind of stuff. Let me know if you guys want me to go into details about this book, because this was one of our first books that we read for our book club at work. Oh, so good. I wanted to share this book with you guys. Classic Mahabharata. My friend who gave me this book, one of her family members wrote this book, if I remember correctly, if that's what she said. And then I have a bunch of books from this author named James Patterson. I've never read his books, but in our public library, city public library, they were on sale, so I just bought it to read. And the last set of books that I want to share with you guys are some serious books. Not so serious, but kind of serious. I need a sip of my cappuccino. Okay, one of my favorite books from high school to read was this one called Coming of Age in Mississippi. And this book is actually an autobiography of growing up in a Black rural South community, and it's by the author Anne Moody. It will amaze you how this book still to this day ties in with what's going on even in 2020. Like racism and everything, it's just amazing how things have not changed. So this is one of those books I have read at least 3-4 times. I had to read it. I had to read it really carefully because we had our final exam for our thesis. We had to finish writing our final paper on this, so it was really important at the time to read it. But even looking past that, it's still considered one of my most favorite books to read. I could read this book over and over, and this is a copy that I found in college, and I immediately got my hands on it because I wish I saved my copy from high school, but yeah, this is another really good book. You guys should look into this book. The next book is Catcher in the Rye. It's a novel by J.D. Salinger, and it's about basically finding your self-worth as a teenager. Joseph, no wait, his name is Hold'em. Yeah, I think it's Hold'em if I remember correctly. That's not important though, but oh my gosh. See, this is what bugs me when I don't remember details, but I think it's, yeah, I think the main character's name is Hold'em in this book. And yeah, it's just a classic. Okay, this pretty much is the gist of my collection. I'm not gonna put this down because I'm still reading this, like I told you guys. I'm gonna give you guys a close-up of what the book setup looks like, but over here I do have a bunch of journals that Jano and I are obsessed with collecting, a bunch of journals. I have a couple of them downstairs as well. So I'll give you guys a close-up look of what it looks like, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and let me know if you guys have future topics that we should talk about, because I don't know, I think I'm gonna find these videos interesting and fun to do. So that's all. So that's all I can think of saying right now. So don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to check out Jano's channel as well. All her information is always linked in the description box, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye everyone.